Let's talk about some real estate. I've got plans that basically in the coming year, I'm going to start doing a video series on kind of intro to real estate, and I'm going to really spin it for like hunting guys. I was thinking about starting a new channel where I was putting up the real estate videos, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to continue to kind of hammer away on this channel. Obviously, if you're not interested in the real estate videos, just don't watch them. I'm going to kind of go in depth on finding deals, fixing deals, funding the deals, and then the exit strategies and how to kind of incorporate those in so that you can decide, like, you know, if you hate your job and you wanted to make real estate your full-time gig, what does that look like? If you like your job and you want to make real estate your full-time gig, how does that look? I also want to make sure that I'm answering the right questions that you guys have. So if you've got any specific questions that are kind of like maybe general topics that you're curious about, I'm going to go really in depth. Like I'm probably going to overshare, but again, because this is kind of a smaller community and I'm not trying to build some big real estate channel, this is more specific for the hunters. I don't mind sharing a lot more detail than probably my business partners would want me to share. So comment in the comment section if you've got any specific questions that you want to make sure that I answer in upcoming videos. I may not respond to you in the actual comment section on YouTube, but it may trigger something that I go, ooh, I want to make sure that I cover it, that and that I talk about that. So please comment below with any questions that you have that are kind of specific to real estate investment specifically. Obviously, I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm just explaining kind of my journey and how I got to where I am today. The other thing is, if in any of these videos I make suggestions or I say maybe how I would do something or how I would change something, there may be laws in your state that literally completely prevent you from doing the thing that I'm talking about. You are responsible for you. The reality real estate investing, especially on the construction side, is adult daycare. Think about who becomes a roofer. Now I'm talking in generalities, and I'm about to talk some subs. Think about who becomes a roofer, or who becomes a handyman, or who becomes a plumber. In general, these are people who it was either a family business that they picked up and they kind of, learned the trade or they went through school. That's category one, and all those people are too expensive. Or you get category two, which is the people who in the Plinko board of life kind of just fell into, I'm a handyman. I'm a roofer. Those are the people that you get to work with every single day for the rest of your career if you decide to go into this. Every day, I deal with people who have the most ridiculous excuses for not showing up, call me to get bailed out of jail, all sorts of fun stories that I'm sure we'll go into on this. I'm probably being like maybe a little hyperbolic. The jail thing is actually real. Just prepare yourself. If you think that you're getting out of a stressful situation, you may not be, because genuinely real estate investing can be super stressful. Unless you can't stand your job and you're 100% positive that it's your actual job and not just like you having some sort of weird midlife thing going on, I don't recommend quitting your job. There are some huge advantages to keeping a W-2 job. You can get bank financing a lot easier. You look a lot more stable. The bank is going to be willing to loan you money. So unless you literally absolutely have to get out of your job, I recommend keeping your job for as long as you can. The other thing is, if you quit and just go full-time into this, you'll be tempted to do stupid things like do work that you should be paying somebody $12-15 an hour for, but maybe you can't find them, so you'll just do it yourself. Or like me, I ended up buying all the tools, learning how to do the vast majority of the trades, and I actually got in my own way because I wasn't willing to pay a handyman in the beginning, or a tile guy in the beginning, or a flooring guy in the beginning, or a painter in the beginning, because I knew that I could just do it for cheaper. But the reality is it's not cheaper. You're stealing all the time from yourself where you should be going out and doing the things that bring in more money. You should be going and finding deals or going and securing funding. Doing the actual trade work, managing the rehab, those are the things that are the high dollar, high value things. And I wish I would have learned that, because the career would have picked up a lot faster. I was too busy kind of tripping over dollars to save dimes because I was working myself as a tradesman in all of the houses. Now, did I save some money right off the bat on some of them? Of course I did. Like, did I take some where I would have made a $20,000 profit and I made a $25,000 profit because of what I did? Yeah. Again, if I would have just gone out and found one more deal that year instead of the 2 or the 3 that I did, I would have probably been able to do 4, 5, 6, 7 and gotten way better, way quicker at actually managing people and doing what I talked about in an earlier video, which is trading that blue collar for a white collar. In real estate, you're always struggling with something. You're struggling to find deals, you're struggling to find money, or you're struggling to find contractors. Those are always the 3 things, and it never goes away. Every single week, we struggle with one of those things. We have a deal, but we have no money to fund it, so we're scrambling to try to find funding. Or we have no deals, and we've got people that are saying, hey man, I've got money to loan, or we've got cash sitting in a bank account. I think the horses are like down in the arena, so you may hear them running around in the background. I think when I started out, I thought that for the longest time I was doing something wrong because I wasn't, it just always felt like this kind of lumbering pace that never felt like I was just, kind of cruising along, like a deal, funding, finishing, a deal, funding, finishing. It always felt really, cumbersome. But I've come to learn that that's just kind of what it's going to feel like forever. Like that's always what's going to happen. You're always going to be struggling to figure that out. So you just hold on for the ride. Yeah, I think that's the Amazon person.
Yeah, they can't get through the driveway. Are you down there?
They can get up the driveway. They're going up there now.
They are?
Oh, yeah.
They said they didn't think they could make it.
Making it. I remember after I did my 3rd house, I showed up to a local real estate investment club because I Googled like real estate investors of Nashville, and this group came up called REIN, R-E-I-N. And I was like, you know what? I want to meet some other people that are doing this. I want to find out about, are there different subcontractors that I could use? Like, how are these people doing it? And I remember I went to the investment group, and before the big main meeting, they had these little breakout sessions, and there was one that was called Seasoned Investors. And I was like, well, I've done 3 deals. I mean, I feel pretty seasoned. So I went into the Seasoned Investors group, and I'm 25, by the way, 26 when this is happening. And I sit down in this group of people that I've come to know a few of the members pretty well that were in that original group. These are guys that have done hundreds of deals. They've owned apartment complexes. They've built 50,000 square foot commercial buildings. Like, these guys are really seasoned. I just had a little sprinkling of salt on me at that point in time. The value that I found out of that group, like, we've literally formed businesses with people that went to that club. So if you can find an investment club in your local area, or even one where you have to drive an hour or 2 and you just go and do that once a month, but you're networking with people and you're continuing to learn, I cannot overstate this. It is so valuable. It's like showing up to a place to hunt where the person has already done all the scouting. They know where all the good spots are, and you can just go there and follow them, because you don't have to reinvent the wheel with this stuff. All you're doing is trying to replicate what other people in this group have done. But your unique circumstances are how you're going to arrange the parts and pieces of your life to fit into these paths that people have already taken to get to financial freedom. Education, education, education. Spend your time and spend your money doing this. We spend money to go on real estate cruises with people where literally for half the cruise you're locked up in a room learning from people who know so much more than we do. We go to events in Atlanta. We have found this kind of group of educators that we will literally go around the country to go watch their events. California, Las Vegas, Atlanta, Tampa. Like, this group is so kind of imperative to what we feel like our success is. We've joined mastermind groups with these people. I don't know, I've got that whole like, oh, do it myself, type of thing. But I assure you, it is foolish to try to do it that way. It is going to be so much quicker for you, and you're going to learn from everybody else's mistakes if you will just listen, start educating yourself, and network with local people in your local area. They're not your competitors. They're not your competitors, and so get rid of that mentality right away. Maybe you guys will eventually bid on some of the same houses, or you'll try to buy some of the same houses. It's not a competition. Everybody ends up helping everybody in the industry as long as you're not a total. So the next step on the education thing is, I know that there are probably a lot of people that are like, I don't have the time to go spend, 5-6 hours a week going and trying to meet other investors, whatever. Start downloading audiobooks on real estate investing and listen to the whole thing. Even if you say, you know what, I'm interested in commercial real estate. I think I'm interested in commercial real estate. Start learning about commercial real estate, and you may decide that you're not interested in it. But 10 years from now, you may look back and go, you know what, I remember this thing from this book. And we call that's mining for education nuggets. And I've got this giant vast library of audiobooks and real books that we've listened to, me and my two business partners, over the last 15 years. Learning. We've got courses that we bought from other investors that have done courses, and we've just constantly been students of this craft, and we have learned things that have sped this process up so much. I know I just keep beating the dead horse, but I promise the education side of it is so worth it. You're watching this video. Maybe you're just watching this video because you're wanting to learn what cigar I'm smoking or how good this Blanton's is. It's very good. If you haven't already, read or listen to Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and start listening to the Bigger Pockets podcast. They're one of the larger kind of real estate oriented podcasts. They have a lot of really interesting guests on. Scroll through the topics that you think would be interesting and listen to those podcasts. And again, listen to the whole thing. Store those nuggets, because you may not use them right away, or you may not think this is exactly what I want to do. But in the future, that may be something that you go back to as you're kind of weaving this, as you're kind of building this portfolio of knowledge for yourself. Because real estate really is a lot like hunting. You're learning about different bow setups, you're learning about different places, you're learning about different species of animals, you're learning about the different rules and regulations in each of the states. I mean, there's a lot of similarities. It's kind of fascinating. But overall, it's a discipline that takes time to get good at. Just like we don't see a brand new hunter generally going out their first year and hammering 10 amazing, outstanding animals. The only investors that I know that go out and just are like these savants, just these brilliant people, every single one that we've seen in Nashville ends up screwing themselves because they get way out over their skis. They're trying to get rich real quick, and what ends up happening is they just end up taking a whole lot of people down with them in the process, because you get a whole lot of people that are super excited about the new guy in town who's blowing people's minds. He did 2 houses, and then he bought a 10-unit apartment complex, and then he bought a 200-unit apartment complex, and then he went bankrupt. I can think of 4 or 5 guys in town that have done that. So the last thing that I want to mention, I'm a pretty low-stress guy. And some of the most stressful situations that I've ever been in my entire life are directly because of this business. Having a buyer back out on the day of closing, when you're using that money to close on another deal, is one of the worst feelings that I've ever had in my entire life. Like panic attack inducing stress. So if you're thinking that this is going to be something where you can just sit on Easy Street and go get on the boat every day in the middle of the week and go hunt as much as you want, when you're starting out, you cannot. But guess what I'm doing on Wednesday? I'm going and getting on the boat in the middle of the lake. And then guess what I'm doing on Saturday? Flying to Wyoming to go elk hunt. Well, to go film an elk hunt. There is freedom somewhere on the journey for sure. But I want you to understand, if this is a path that you're interested in pursuing, that there will be stress, there will be blood, there will be broken bones, there will be things that you never dreamed of in your entire life that would come up that absolutely drive you to panic. So that's another reason that I don't encourage people to just quit their jobs, because I assure you it can be worse than where you are right now. in the long run, it can create financial freedom and it can create a lot of time freedom. But I don't think there's a way to shortcut it. Maybe I'm not giving you enough credit. Maybe you're the savant. Maybe you're the one. I don't know. So I'm working on a video now that the first thing I go through is an entire house that we just flipped. So I've been filming it the entire time as we've been going on. I'm going to show you guys that video. I'm going to explain how we find deals and how I think you should try to find deals. I'm going to explain how we get funding and how I think you could get funding. I'm going to try to break it down the same way that I have done for bows and for arrows and broadheads and all those kinds of things. I'm going to try to redneck science it.